Oh, hi everyone. I hope you're all well. It's Susie here from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're living your life according to the way you want to live it. Life's short. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your family and animals and everything else in this world that we hear lots of horrible things happen. Just wanted to go through how to recognize a scam ICO, or mainly scam ICO. There have been so many scams in the crypto market, particularly in 2017, and there's an article down here, you can reference just this one here, where basically nearly half the ICOs that have come to the market have failed or basically been some sort of scam. So nearly half, 46% of 902 crowd sales based on last year have either failed or they've been scams. So it's really important to try and recognise a scam. We all know about the BitConnect scam of 1.4 billion, Confido 400,000, Proteum, Plex Coin 15 million, Loop X 4.5, OneCoin apparently billions, Starflow Coin, Arise Bank, which was just closed down by the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission in America, which also regulates stock markets, foreign exchange markets, other security markets, bond markets and the like. And the thing is, with cryptocurrencies, there hasn't been any regulation. And what happens in cryptocurrency markets, because there hasn't been any regulation, the white papers are often full of fluff and absolutely full of garbage a lot of the time. So with regulation, hopefully, you will see the white papers being much more realistic and much more honest, because if you put something in a white paper, which is like a prospectus supposedly, what you do say to the end investor or the potential investor, you've got to actually tell the investor the truth. And pretty much, if you don't, you can actually go to jail for securities fraud. So that's really important. Also, YouTubers, when they're trying to sell a security, they could also be liable, because again, you can't tell people the wrong thing just because you're getting paid bonus or commission. It's actually illegal in any other market. So will be designated security for as well, because you're being seen to have a vested interest, and you're not telling people the right thing either. So again, I believe regulation for this market is the key, because without regulation, potential ICO scammers can basically get money out of people, and then people lose their money and they're basically out of pocket. And it's got no integrity, they've got no honesty, and it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty bad. People work hard for their money, and there's just so many things going on in the cryptocurrency market that it's not right, not right at all. So I do believe it has to be regulated. So I said millions here in terms of ICOs, but obviously, scammers walked away with billions in ICO. If you just look at the BitConnect scam, for example, but also OneCoin, apparently billions. So, I just say beware, really do your due diligence, do a lot of research yourself, because honestly, there's a lot of red flags. So I'm just going to the next slide. Just put that up. Oh, my cat, every time I go to, Izzy, come here, darling. Every time I go to do something on YouTube, one of my cats, I've got 3 cats, and they all get up and want to see what's going on. Anyway, how to avoid a scam, and I put it down to a lot of different red flags I look at. I've got a lot of criteria when I'm looking to invest in an ICO, and, again, if I'm looking to invest in an ICO, my time frame is generally 2 years. I know some people have a much shorter time frame. They want to get into something with low issuance and just pump it and then dump it. But again, even that in other markets is actually illegal as well. So when this market gets regulated, it'll be heavily controlled by the Security Exchange Commission in the US. They're very, very strict, on pumping and dumping, and also they're strict on who can actually invest in these things. And I suppose that's why in the American market, a lot of the ICOs aren't available in the American market, because the SEC is basically saying it's not available for US investors. So the first thing I look at is obviously the quality of the white paper. Is it substance, or is it copied, or is it just talking about blockchain? Is it full of fluff, full of no substance whatsoever, no stats? no growth perspectives, no nothing in terms of the business model and everything else. Again, if they're saying, we can, and there was just one recent ICO that I believe was a scam, if they're saying that they can do 1 million transactions per second or 5 million per second, I mean, the reality is you can't do that. At the moment, it's technically impossible, and if you ask any programmer or any expert in terms of computer language and programmer developer, you can't actually do it. So you've just got to be really aware of what they say in these white papers, what the issuer says in these white papers, because don't forget the white papers are not audited, and so they can effectively say anything. So please be careful when you do invest in an ICO, because honestly, 1 in 2 is a scam, and that's what the stats say from last year particularly. Also, another thing everyone says and looks at is the team. Now, the team is obviously really important, because you have to actually assess whether the team can do what they're saying they're going to do. Now, the reality is, if a team doesn't have the experience, they don't have the blockchain experience or the domain experience or the computer language experience or the developing experience or the programming experience, it's very, very unlikely that they're actually going to be able to do what they're actually saying they can do. So it's really good to find out exactly who the team are. If they're not known, again, that is a red flag to me. Are they respected members in their field? Are they, leading cryptographers? Are they, do they know anything about peer-to-peer, networking, cryptography? Do they know anything about memory compression? Do they know anything about programming, for example? Do they know anything about large open source projects? Obviously, the more knowledge they have and the more experience, the less likely that it may be a scam. But in saying that, you honestly need to look and find out who the team is. Do they have a presence? Do they have the experience? Have they got a background in it in terms of experience or education? Look them up on LinkedIn, look them up on YouTube, see if they've got a profile of some sort, and check all the advisors as well, because the advisors may not exist, or they may not be realistic either. So, there's quite a bit, there's quite a lot to look at. So also I say email the issuer, email the people behind the ICO, the coin or the token. See if they're on Twitter, see if they're on LinkedIn, which is a business thing that gives you profiles of people. Also, like I said, if there's massive promises and unrealistic returns and, projections, and there's nothing, sustaining that, then that's a red flag in itself. Another thing I think is really important is legal jurisdiction of the country that they're issuing it out of. Some countries have very different laws to America, to Australia, to the UK. They may have Dutch law, they may have Bahamian law, they may have, a different law in a different country. It could be a small little place in, Croatia somewhere, or Lithuania. Again, you've got to think about it. If something's wrong with the ICO and you've invested money, it's going to be very hard to get your money out of an ICO where its jurisdiction is some of these small countries that may not even follow English type law. And again, that makes it very, very hard indeed. Another thing I look at as well is how long has the company been set up for? Has it been set up just for a year? That's a red flag to me. Where has it been set up out of? Now, I'll give you an example of this. There was a crypto ages ago. It was set up, it was actually a German company that was setting up a crypto, but they registered the crypto in Cyprus, and it was a gambling coin. Now, the thing is, in Germany, gambling is illegal. So they registered this coin or token in Cyprus. And again, to me, that's a red flag in itself, because if gambling's illegal in Germany, but they're funding money out of Cyprus back into Germany, because they can't do it in their own country. You've got to really think, why are they doing this, and why are they funding in the cryptocurrency market at all, and why aren't they funding out of their own jurisdiction? So, you know, that they're the sort of questions that I ask as well. Also, social media. Social media can be faked. So in other words, you know, Twitter profiles can be faked. You know, Slack can be faked. Facebook can be faked. And again, you know, any sort of social media can be faked with fake names, you know, fake people that support them and all this sort of thing. So again, do your due diligence on that. You know, messages in Telegram, you know, send them messages in Telegram or send them emails and see if they answer you, because if they don't answer you, that's another red flag that something's not right with the ICO. Because the thing is, if they're not answering before you give them the money, what are they going to be like when you've given the money to them? They're not going to answer you anyway. So if they don't answer you pre, then you know there's a red flag there as well. Just buyer beware. Another thing is, some of these ICOs come with a really heavy-handed, hard-sold tactic. As I said, in the past, they've paid YouTubers to basically say positive things about their ICOs, so you as investors put your money in those ICOs. Now, in any other market, that would be illegal, because you have to disclose in any other market what commission or what you're being paid to do an ad for an ICO in any other market, or an IPO particularly, which is initial public offering in the stock market, or a prospectus in the bond market. So it's really important, because even as a broker, you have to disclose your commission. Otherwise, you're in breach of the Securities Exchange Commission's laws, and you can go to jail for that as well. It's taken very seriously. White-collar crime, you can basically sometimes, in Australia particularly, go to jail longer than if you killed someone. So, you know, it's very, very strict indeed. Another thing with some of these, you know, cryptos or where they reference something, they might have a dodgy URL. So the proper URL is this, HTTPS, but the incorrect one is HTTP, so really be aware of that as well. And again, you can have this tiered marketing story, you know, where basically a YouTuber might have 250,000 people that follow him or her, more likely him, a young him. And so therefore they'll pay him more in coins or whatever. And, you know, obviously as you have lower subscribers to your YouTube, they'll pay you less. So again, and it's got to be disclosed. In any other market, as I said, you've got to disclose that commission. Otherwise, you've got a vested interest in selling the ICO, and what you're saying to the potential end investor is not actually correct. I won't do that myself because I don't think it's ethical. And pretty much that's the way it should be as far as I'm concerned. Even when I was a broker many years ago and I was selling CDOs and CLOs, collateralized debt obligations, which all went belly up, I always showed my client as a courtesy, but I said to them, for my money, I would not invest in these things. These things are dangerous. You can lose your money. Also, another thing, some of these ICOs offer a high rate of return for no risk, and you can't guarantee a rate of return for anything. So they shouldn't be making these sort of statements, not when they're not true, and you can't guarantee a return either, by the one. A big one, a massive one that I believe, and again, this was just a recent one that I said was a scam because you couldn't see their GitHub code. Now, cryptocurrency is basically, you know, open source technology, and you should be able to see the GitHub code. It's basically a website that shows you the programming, shows you what's being done with the project, the software. Anyone should be able to see that code. It's open source. And if you can't see the code, it tells you that they don't, as far as I'm concerned, it tells you they don't have any code. And that is a massive, massive red flag. Also, they don't have any activity on GitHub, or, you know, with the programmers and developers, what they're doing. Another thing, that's another red flag. So just, you know, really look at this stuff. You're putting your money somewhere, and you need to make up make sure 100% that it's going to be right, given that 1 in 2 ICOs, particularly last year, were scams or have gone, belly up or losing money particularly. Another thing too is the roadmap. Roadmaps should be very detailed of where the project is going, the criteria for each time span, what exactly they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Some of these roadmaps don't even talk about how they're going to do something. They say marketing, they say clients, but they don't tell you how they're going to do the marketing or how they're going to get clients to use their technology. Again, I mean, the coin could be in, financial markets, blockchain financial markets, which are a dime a dozen in terms of the crypto market. There's heaps of them. So how are they going to get people to use their coin or token or their potential technology, which will be off the back of Ethereum or, Neo, compared to someone else? A lot of these roadmaps and a lot of these white papers don't even talk about how they get the client to generate the revenue. If you don't talk about how you get the client to generate the revenue, you've got no business, basically. No business, full stop. The thing will go belly up within a year. I find a lot of these white papers are completely lacking in terms of business model, how they get the clients, how will they get the new client in to use the technology and to generate revenue. Just going forward to the next slide. Let's pull this one up. So, there are a lot of red flags. Another one too is a distribution method which is repeated in many scams. They come to the market, once, twice, 3 times, and it's drawn out in different batches, and they keep a lot of the coins for themselves. The developers get a lot of the coins, and they don't sit within an escrow or safe custody. So the money that they've got from the ICO doesn't sit in safe custody or an escrow account where they can't touch it. Now that means they can grab your money and basically use it whatever they like and go away, and that's it. So, and a lot of these ICOs don't even talk about custody of the money that comes in or the escrow. And so this is, again, another red flag as far as I'm concerned. Those who buy without an escrow, it is dangerous as far as I'm concerned. And also some of the coins, the issuers behind them, or the potential developers don't even have a multi-signature account. So again, anyone can walk away with the funds of an ICO. There's nothing to protect you at all. In other markets, you always have custody accounts where the initial public offer or the initial public offer in terms of the equity market or a prospectus in terms of the bond market, they will be sitting in custody, so that everyone knows the issuer has to pay back those bonds, or or has to the equity will obviously be on the market, but at least that there is some sort of security there. Also, another thing is, what sort of business are they in? Again, some businesses you just cannot use blockchain in. It doesn't mean that just because we have blockchain and it's decentralized technology that it's going to suit every business. It doesn't make sense to use blockchain and decentralized technology in a particular business. And this is where you've really got to make a judgment called, does it make sense? Because some businesses don't require blockchain or decentralization. It just doesn't make sense. Another thing too is the mining structure. Does it disproportionately favour the development team? In other words, they're offering more to the development team, vis-a-vis, a minority group. And again, all investors in other markets should be treated equally. No investor should be treated differently to the other investor. So, and again, in some of these ICOs, you have big whales, as the crypto terminology says, big whales taking a slice. And then that, pretty much when the thing comes and lists on the crypto exchange, the whales basically, are going to dump their stock once it gets wrapped. and that's at a big disadvantage to any other holder of that coin or that token, which is not a good story at all, because if you're trying to hold something for a 2-year period, you're going to see an enormous amount of volatility, and because the whales got a lot of the volume of that issue, they could really move that price one way or the other, particularly down if they want to get out. So there are a couple of things there, and I've mentioned the GitHub. There's got to be some sort of GitHub. Really very, very important. As I said, open source. Everyone should have access to the GitHub and be able to see that, and basically see, you should be able to get a gauge of the project's validity, whether it's viable or not. So just going to the next one, I might have repeated myself here a little bit, and I apologise if I have. So I've done that one. Just the next one. Again, social media, I have mentioned this. Whoops, how did I do that? Sorry, let me undo that. Whoops. Social media, basically, you can pay someone, $75 to do all your social media for an ICO. Only $75. So if you look this up, you'll find that someone's available to do all your social media, Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, you name it, for $75, which is a pretty cheap deal when you're looking at getting millions out of an ICO. So, even social media can be false, completely false. And that's why I say send emails to the issuer, send emails to the group and see if you get replies, because often I've done that in the past and I haven't actually got replies, which is very, very annoying. Another thing which, I picked up is also, if you look at some of the links on some of the YouTube, which are some of the links, if you see strings like this or like this, you know that the ICO is, the YouTuber or whoever is getting paid for the referral. So again, they're getting commission in their back pocket for a referral, and it's not legitimate. Okay, it's not honestly legitimate in any other market, because you have a vested interest and you'll tell people, obviously only positive stuff, so the ICO gets bought up, and that's just not right. And that's why the authorities want to regulate this stuff, not also because they want to get tax as well, but they also want to regulate because they want to try and protect the investor as well, like other markets. So that's the thing. Also, when you look at ICOs, go into Google and Google the name and put in the word scam and see if anything comes up. Obviously, use the name of the ICO and put in scam, and you might find something else connected to that. Maybe even look at Google's trend for the time span and related searches. Google Trend is a really, really good tool, and you can actually put in there, the ICO name and see if anything comes up within the time frame, like a month or 2 months, or whatever it might be. So there's just other things you can actually look at to try and, do your due diligence and to, avoid, falling into a scam. And look, this list is not exhaustive. There are a lot of things you can look at more than this, but I just want to give you some ideas of what are some of the things you can look. As I said, the white paper is full of crap that, you're going to know it's not real. If there's no background of the team or no professional presence, that's going to tell you something. Massive promises. The market is lawless. There is no rules at the moment, and so white papers, as I've said, white papers and anything that comes with the ICO are not audited, so they can basically say anything, pretty much. Again, one I've said is, how do they get their clients and revenue? They never talk about how do they get their clients. Do they go out? Do they cold call? Do they, have more marketing programs? What do they do to get those clients? How are they going to get those clients to use their technology over and above everyone else's when there's so much competition generally? Another thing with ICOs, if there's really generous bonuses, if they're over 20%, you've got to be 20 to 40%, 40% or something, you've got to be buyer beware. Why are they offering such generous bonuses? Again, if they're showing incredible returns, 1,000%, buyer beware. I mean, don't forget a 10-year bond in the States, I think it's around 2.8 or something. or is that a 30-year? One of the two. But look, 10-year might be 2% and the 30-year might be 2.8% or something. So 1,000% is a lot. As I said, the company may not exist, or it may be in the Bahamas or somewhere way out, somewhere small somewhere. It could be the Virgin Islands. Again, buyer beware. As I said, social media, dodgy new URLs, over-the-top marketing. Again, if they pre-mine the coins, they need to tell you how they're doing it. How do they confirm or validate the transactions within the technology? How do they get done? How many nodes do they have in the technology? There's different nodes, validator nodes, nodes that balance everything. What exchanges are they potentially going to be on? Where are the company headquarters? Source code is really important. As I said, is the amount of money they're trying to raise too big for the project? Now, I would have said with Telegram, the money they're trying to raise is huge. And seriously, I don't think Telegram is worth the money they've tried to raise. There's been a lot of hype about Telegram, and I've seen stuff to say they don't even really have, they don't have a real business, and or the money they've raised is too much for the business that exists. And again, they have raised a hell of a lot of money. Another thing is, what's going on with the creators? What's their background? What are they doing? Is the ICO expensive compared to others in a similar industry? The issue size, how much are they issuing, but is it also expensive? Priced by the issuance level. And why did the company really come to the ICO market? Was it easy to come to the ICO market because it's not regulated? Whereas they had the opportunity to go to the equity market or the public debt market, but they didn't because it was easier to get money out of the ICO market. And registered. Where's the company registered? The headquarters could be in another country, but the registration of the company could be in another country. And what's the high? The hard cap could be very high. Again, to me, these are all red flags that you just got to constantly ask yourself. And when you're looking at something. What else have I got here? Oh, I've done that one. Okay, so, there are just so many things to look at as far as I'm concerned. What else we got? Okay, so things that you can help to avoid an ICO scam, ICO scam or a scam, but I'm only looking at ICOs, is this thing here, this address here. This tells you what scams are happening right now. So it gives you an idea. If you look into that address, it'll tell you what scams are happening right now. What country. I've said it's really important. Legal risk and political risk are very, very important. And this is obviously a comment from Beninsky and Tata. The code repository, I can't even say it properly, shown in Crypto Compare. Really important to have a look at that. But also GitHub. There's two important references you can look at there in terms of internet, but also this one here. Also, what else we got? Real clients. Do they have real partners? Look at LinkedIn, Facebook, all the social media stuff. GitHub, as I've said, I've just covered that again. Look at Google, do the name and scam. Look at the white paper and look at the roadmap to see if they make sense, to see if they're giving you enough detail as well. And also, let's just go back up here. So, websites, Google search, as I've said, check ICO name and scam, GitHub for the code, social media, send them emails, see how many subscribers they've got. I mean, I'm always a bit suspicious if an ICO has low subscribers for Twitter, for Facebook, for Reddit, for Slack, whatever, their Telegram site, whatever. Source code, company registration. Look up this Ethereum one, which tells you scams. Look up Crypto Judge, that also talks about scams. GitHub talks about scams. Reddit, Bitcoin Talk, BuzzSumo, you can look up that for scams as well. Also, the Security Institute, US Security Exchange, has something about what investors should look for in terms of ICOs. So look up that and ICO claims. Also look at token tops. Another one is steemit.com.scam. What else? This is obviously the Telegram scam. Oops, get out of there. What else we got? The SEC.gov also talks about what investors should look at. And, you know, we also have litigation, which is some of the ICOs have actually been suspended, stopped. The SEC has actually stopped the ICOs from coming to the market. And we've just seen that recently with the Rise Bank, and they wanted to do an ICO of 600 mil, and the Security Exchange Commission stopped them from coming to the market. So that's really important. And I think that's pretty much it. What else have I got here? Sorry. Izzy, stop that dying. So if you look at the SEC ICO, they've got a list here of investor alert, and they're basically saying, you know, who am I exactly contracting with? What's the sponsoring product, the issue, their backgrounds? You know, do they have full and complete description of the product? Do they have a clear written business plan that I understand? This is what the SEC says for ICOs. Who is promoting and marketing the product? What are their backgrounds? Are they licensed to sell the product? Have they been paid to promote the product? Which is not good because it's actually a vested interest and they could give you a very biased and wrong view. Again, exactly what I say. Where is the enterprise located? And this is under the US Security Exchange Commission. They say this is the things you should be looking at when you invest in an ICO. Really important. Where are they located? Where is the money going and what will it be used for? Is my money going to be used to cash out others? That's really important. So an example, you know, are the programmers getting too much of the money? What specific rights do I have with my investment? Are there financial statements? If so, are they audited and by whom? And again, in this market, nothing is audited. Remember, in every other market, financial statements are audited, and it is a necessary requirement to supply up-to-date financial statements. Is there trading data? If so, verify it. So, look, you've just got to be really, really careful. As I said, there are a lot of scams out there, and you just need to be as careful as you can. Every time I go to an ICO, I always think about this. What makes startups fail? And the thing is, you know, you are investing in startup risk. So you're basically investing in a startup company. And the first thing I go to is this list. And most startups fail because it's not needed. You know, 42% of startup businesses fail because it's not needed. And that's what I think about this ICO market. 50% are going to fail because what they're doing is not needed. Clients won't use it. They will not get clients to use their technology because it's not needed. Another thing is they're out of cash, or their time period to when they are going to do things, supposedly in terms of their roadmap, they haven't actually got to that time period. Another thing is 23% is, you know, the reason why startups fail is because it's not the right team. They don't have the skills or the technical ability to do what they claim they can do. They're not, and they don't deliver, pretty much. Another reason, 19%, they get out-competed or they can't complete in time. It takes them so long to do anything that another coin comes along and gazumps them over the top that has better technology in that industry. And that's a real issue, actually. Another one is cost issues. You know, I know there's a couple of coins, you know, like Cardano, for example, which I like very much, but it's run by a bunch of academics, and I always worry about academics because they take a long time to do things. And, you know, will they get to their technology, you know, schedule their key performance indicators in time? Because eventually costs keep blowing out. The longer you take to develop a technology, the longer it's going to, the more it's going to cost you, essentially, because it's becoming longer. Is the product unfriendly? And when I think about that, I think about IOTA. You know, people, you know, are having trouble transferring IOTA coins out of the wallet that doesn't work and transferring IOTA into exchanges because you can only use one deposit key and you've got to do something else and something else. The product seems to be very unfriendly and people lose money because of it, which is not great. again, does the startup business ignore customers? And again, I think IOTA does that, because there's been a lot of people losing money with IOTA, and yet, you know, the team seems to just disregard them. You know, and even the groupies that follow IOTA seem to disregard the fact that there are people that have lost money because the coins have got lost in the ether somewhere. Is there disharmony in the team and the investors? Now, again, this could be, was it Telsa? No, Tezos, that big ICO last year. There was, two developers, I think it was a husband and wife, and there was a foundation, and the foundation wanted control over the money, and the husband and wife said they wanted control over the money, and so people, gave money for the ICO, but the technology was all delayed. So that is a real problem. And there's other things, there's many other issues, but it could be legal, geographic, they're not expanding into geographic, it could be legal risk or political risk. So look, I hope that helps. It's just a couple of ideas for you. I just want to protect people as much as I can. There's so many other things you can look at in terms of ICOs and scams and potential. But if something doesn't ring true, be skeptical, because it is your money. You work hard for it. And, just please beware, look after yourself. Anyway, I hope that helps, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Look after yourselves and take care.